MASH turned a wartime hospital into one of television's deepest memories. Sharp jokes, wounded soldiers, exhausted doctors, and humanity surviving under pressure. But behind the laughter were long careers, painful losses, illness, and final chapters that make the 477th feel even more powerful in 2026. Captain Benjamin Franklin "Hawkeye" Pierce is the witty and compassionate chief surgeon at the heart of MASH, the doctor who fights war with skill, sarcasm, and stubborn humanity. Played by Alan Alda, born in 1936 in New York City, he was 36 when the series began in 1972. In 2026, Alan Alda is 90. Hawkeye remains unforgettable because Alda made him brilliant, funny, rebellious, wounded, and deeply empathetic in the middle of chaos. Beyond MASH, Alan Alda became one of television's most respected actors, writers, directors, and advocates, helping shape the series' emotional depth both on screen and behind the camera. His Hawkeye endures because humor was never just a joke, it was survival. Father Francis Mulcahy is the kind-hearted chaplain in MASH, the quiet spiritual presence who brings compassion into a place built around trauma and survival. Played by William Christopher, born in 1932 in Evanston, Illinois, he was 40 when he first took on the role in 1972. He passed away in 2016 at 84. Leaving behind one of the show's gentlest and most morally steady legacies. Father Mulcahy remains memorable because Christopher made faith feel humble, practical, humorous, and deeply human. Beyond MASH, William Christopher continued acting in television and remained beloved by fans who saw Father Mulcahy as the conscience of the 477th. His role endures because in a war zone, comfort could be as important as medicine. Colonel Sherman T. Potter is the steady and compassionate commanding officer of the 477th in MASH, the leader whose calm authority gives the camp a sense of order in the middle of war. Played by Harry Morgan, born in 1915 in Detroit, Michigan, he was 59 when he joined the series in 1974. He passed away in 2011 at 96, leaving behind one of television's most beloved leadership roles. Colonel Potter remains unforgettable because Morgan made him disciplined, funny, fatherly, practical, and deeply protective of the people under his command. Beyond MASH, Harry Morgan had a long and respected career in film and television, including Dragnet and many classic roles across decades. His Colonel Potter endures because he showed that military authority could still carry warmth, wisdom, and a steady human heart. Corporal Walter "Radar" O'Reilly is the perceptive company clerk in MASH, the young soldier whose innocence and uncanny instincts help keep the 477th running. Played by Gary Burghoff, born in 1943 in Flint, Michigan, he was 29 when he first took on the role in 1972. In 2026, Gary Burghoff is 83. Radar remains beloved because Burghoff made him loyal, gentle, nervous, and almost childlike, with his teddy bear becoming one of the show's most touching symbols. Beyond MASH, Gary Burghoff worked in acting, music, and art, but Radar became his defining television legacy. His character endures because he represented the innocence war tries to steal, quietly doing his job while still holding on to something soft. Captain B.J. Honeycutt is the compassionate and skilled surgeon in MASH, the devoted family man whose friendship with Hawkeye gives the later seasons their emotional center. Played by Mike Farrell, born in 1939 in St. Paul, Minnesota, he was 36 when he joined the series in 1975. In 2026, Mike Farrell is 87. BJ remains memorable because Farrell made him intelligent, kind, morally grounded, funny, and quietly wounded by the distance from his wife and child. Beyond MASH, Mike Farrell continued acting, directing, producing, and working in humanitarian causes. His B.J. Honeycutt endures because he showed the cost of war not through collapse, but through the ache of a good man trying to stay decent while missing home. Lieutenant Kelly Yamato, RN, is the compassionate and skilled nurse in MASH, a steady presence who brings warmth and professionalism to the 47th, played by Kelly Nakahara, born in 1948 in Oahu, Hawaii. She was 25 when she first appeared in 1973. She passed away in 2020 at 72, leaving behind a beloved legacy among fans of the series. Lieutenant Kelly remains memorable because Nakahara gave her calm dignity, kindness, wit, and a sense of real humanity inside the pressure of wartime nursing. Beyond MASH, Kelly Nakahara also became known as an artist and continued to be warmly remembered by the show's community. Her Lieutenant Kelly endures because the nurses of the 47th were not background. They were part of the heart that kept the camp alive. Major Charles Winchester is the brilliant and cultured surgeon in MASH, the refined officer whose arrogance slowly reveals surprising loyalty and compassion. Played by David Ogden Stiers, born in 1942 in Peoria, Illinois. He was 35 when he joined the series in 1977. He passed away in 2018 at 75, leaving behind a rich legacy in television, theater, music, and voice acting. Winchester remains unforgettable because Stiers made him snobbish, precise, wounded, gifted, and capable of deep grace when the moment demanded it. Beyond MASH, David Ogden Stiers became known for major voice work in Disney films, including Beauty and the Beast, Pocahontas, and Lilo and Stitch, along with theater and conducting. His Charles Winchester endures because beneath the polish was a lonely man trying to protect his dignity in a place designed to break it. Major Frank Burns is the rigid and often comically inept surgeon in MASH, the rule-bound officer whose hypocrisy made him a constant target at the 47th. Played by Larry Linville, born in 1939 in Ojai, California. He was 33 when he first took on the role in 1972. He passed away in 2000, at 60, leaving behind one of television's most memorable comic antagonists. Frank remains unforgettable because Linville made him jealous, petty, insecure, ridiculous, and still recognizably human beneath the bluster. Beyond MASH, Larry Linville continued acting in television and theater, but Frank Burns became his defining role. His performance endures because a character who could have been flat became a painfully funny portrait of weakness, hiding behind authority. Private Igor Straminsky is the grumbling mess tent cook in MASH, the recurring camp figure whose sarcasm adds flavor to the daily frustrations of the 47th. Played by Jeff Maxwell, born in 1947 in Chicago, Illinois. He was 26 when he first appeared as Igor in 1973. In 2026, Jeff Maxwell is 79. Igor remains memorable because Maxwell gave him deadpan humor, everyday irritation, and the feeling of a regular soldier just trying to survive bad food in worse circumstances. Beyond MASH, Jeff Maxwell remained closely connected to the show's legacy through fan events, interviews, and the MASH Matters podcast. His Igor endures because even small recurring characters helped make the 47th feel like a living community. Captain Trapper John McIntyre is the fun-loving and talented surgeon in MASH, Hawkeye's early partner in Rebellion, Medicine, and Mischief. Played by Wayne Rogers, born in 1933 in Birmingham, Alabama. He was 39 when he first took on the role in 1972. He passed away in 2015, at 82, leaving behind a respected legacy in television and business. Trapper remains beloved because Rogers made him witty, relaxed, compassionate, and rebellious, without losing the seriousness of a doctor facing war. Beyond MASH, Wayne Rogers continued acting, and later became known as an investor and television financial commentator. His Trapper John endures as part of the show's early heartbeat, the friend beside Hawkeye, when laughter was the only shield they had. Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake is the easygoing and overwhelmed commanding officer of the early 4077th in MASH, the leader whose warmth made his flaws forgivable. Played by McLean Stevenson, born in 1927 in Normal, Illinois, he was 45 when he first assumed the role in 1972. He passed away in 1996, at 68, leaving behind one of television's most shocking and emotional departures. Henry remains unforgettable because Stevenson made him funny, scattered, gentle, human, and deeply loved by the people he could barely keep organized. Beyond MASH, McLean Stevenson continued working in television, but Henry Blake became the role that defined his legacy. His final episode still hurts because it reminded viewers that in war, comedy could stop in an instant. Roy is the quiet and dependable corpsman at the 477th in MASH, one of the familiar background faces who helps make the camp feel real. Played by Roy Goldman, born in 1932 in New York City, he was 41 when he first appeared on the show in 1973. He passed away in 2009 at 77, leaving behind a cherished place in the MASH ensemble. Roy remains memorable because Goldman brought continuity, reliability, and subtle humor to scenes in the operating room, mess tent, and camp life. Beyond MASH, Roy Goldman worked as a supporting performer whose steady presence mattered even without headline status. His Roy endures because television worlds feel alive when familiar faces keep showing up, doing the work quietly. The PA announcer is the unseen voice that threads through MASH, delivering camp updates, meal menus, and wounded alerts with a mix of routine and dark humor. Voiced by Todd Sussman, born in 1947 in St. Louis, Missouri, he was 25 when he first lent his voice to the role in 1972. In 2026, Todd Sussman is 79. The PA announcer remains iconic because Sussman made a voice-only role feel like part of the camp's nervous system, setting tone without appearing on screen. Beyond MASH, Todd Sussman worked across television, film, and stage, but his announcements remain one of the show's most recognizable sounds. His contribution endures because the 4077th was not only seen, it was heard. The PA announcer is also part of the MASH soundscape through the voice of Sal Viscuso, whose announcements help define daily life at the 4077th. Born in 1948 in Brooklyn, New York, Viscuso was 28 when he began voicing the role in 1976. In 2026, Sal Viscuso is 78. His PA announcer remains memorable because Viscuso brought dry timing, irony, and a disembodied sense of order to a camp constantly surrounded by absurdity and trauma. Beyond MASH, Sal Viscuso worked in television, film, and stage, appearing in many projects across a long career. His voice endures because even a few words over a loudspeaker could make the 477th feel lived in, frantic, and real. Lieutenant Ginger Bayless, RN, is a capable and compassionate nurse in MASH, one of the early recurring figures who helps give the medical staff warmth and credibility. Played by Odessa Cleveland, born in 1944 in Winnetka, Illinois, she was 28 when she first appeared in 1972. In 2026, Odessa Cleveland is 82. Ginger remains notable because Cleveland made her professional, calm, caring, and essential to the atmosphere of the 4077th, even without always standing at the center of the story. Beyond MASH, Odessa Cleveland continued acting in television and remained remembered for helping represent the vital work of wartime nurses. Her Lieutenant Bayless endures because the show's humanity depended on the nurses as much as the surgeons. Sergeant Zelmo Zale is the sharp-tongued supply sergeant in MASH, a supporting character whose comic presence adds another layer to camp life. Played by Johnny Hamer, born in 1920 in St. Louis, Missouri, he was 54 when he first took on the role in 1974. He passed away in 1989, at 69, leaving behind a legacy of energetic character acting. Zale remains memorable because Hamer made him cranky, lively, practical, and believable as another soldier navigating the absurdities of the Army. Beyond MASH, Johnny Hamer appeared across television and film, building a career on distinctive supporting roles. His Sergeant Zale endures because the 4077th needed more than doctors. It needed the everyday men who argued, complained, and kept the place supplied. Lieutenant Shari, RN, is a steady nurse in MASH, a later recurring presence who adds professionalism and calm to the medical staff. Played by Shari Saba, born in 1957 in the United States, she was 23 when she first appeared in 1980. In 2026, Shari Saba is 69. Lieutenant Shari remains notable because Saba helped portray the ongoing work of nurses in a combat hospital, where calm hands mattered as much as dramatic speeches. Beyond MASH, Shari Saba is remembered mainly for her contribution to the show's ensemble. Her Lieutenant Shari endures as one of the many supporting nurses who made the 477th feel authentic, busy, and emotionally alive. Sergeant Luther Rizzo is the laid-back motor pool chief in MASH, the wisecracking soldier whose southern drawl and shortcuts bring comic relief to the later seasons. Played by G.W. Bailey, born in 1944 in Port Arthur, Texas, he was 35 when he first appeared as Rizzo in 1979. In 2026, G.W. Bailey is 82. Rizzo remains memorable because Bailey made him lazy, resourceful, colorful, and strangely effective at surviving the absurdity of Army life. Beyond MASH, G.W. Bailey became widely known for Police Academy and The Closer, building a long career in television and film. His Rizzo endures because every camp needs the man who seems to do everything wrong, yet somehow keeps things moving. Lieutenant Bigelow, RN, is a competent and caring nurse in MASH, a frequent supporting presence who helps show the daily labor behind wartime medicine. Played by Enid Kent, born in 1945 in Los Angeles, California, she was 31 when she first appeared in 1976. In 2026, Enid Kent is 81. Lieutenant Bigelow remains memorable because Kent made her steady, professional, and believable as one of the nurses helping hold the 47th together. Beyond MASH, Enid Kent continued working in television and remained fondly remembered by fans of the series. Her Bigelow endures because supporting nurses gave the show depth, realism, and a reminder that compassion was a team effort. Major Sidney Friedman is the thoughtful psychiatrist in MASH, the gentle observer who helps the 47th face the psychological toll of war. Played by Alan Alda, born in 1918 in New York City, he was 55 when he first took on the role in 1973. He passed away in 2013 at 95, leaving behind one of the show's most beloved recurring characters. Sidney remains unforgettable because Arbus made him wise, calm, funny, and quietly heartbreaking when the wounds were emotional instead of physical. Beyond MASH, Alan Arbus had a unique life as a photographer and actor, bringing reflective intelligence to his screen work. His Sidney Friedman endures because he gave the show permission to admit that survival was not only about keeping the body alive. Captain Ugly John Black is the gruff but dedicated surgeon in the early world of MASH, a rough-edged presence who adds realism to the 4077th. Played by John Orchard, born in 1928 in Kennington, London, England, he was 44 when he first assumed the role in 1972. He passed away in 1995, at 66, leaving behind a meaningful early series legacy. Ugly John remains notable because Orchard gave him blunt humor, toughness, loyalty, and the sense of another capable doctor, shaped by the pressure of war. Beyond MASH, John Orchard worked in film and television, often bringing a distinctive presence to supporting roles. His Captain Black endures as part of the show's first formation, before the 4077th became the ensemble most fans remember. Rosie is the warm and cheerful figure connected to the 4077th's mess tent in MASH, a recurring presence who gives the camp another place of comfort and community. Played by Eileen Saki, born in 1943 in Jerome, Arkansas, she was 33 when she first appeared in 1976. She passed away in 2023 at 79, leaving behind a warmly remembered role in one of television's most beloved ensembles. Rosie remains memorable because Saki gave her kindness, humor, practical support, and the feeling of normal life trying to survive near a war zone. Beyond MASH, Eileen Saki worked in television and remained cherished by fans who recognized the heart she brought to a small but familiar role. Her Rosie endures because even in wartime, a gathering place could feel like shelter. Nurse Abel is a competent and caring nurse at the 4077th in MASH, one of the supporting medical figures who helps make the hospital feel fully alive. Played by Judy Farrell, born in 1938 in Quapaw, Oklahoma, she was 38 when she first took on the role. She passed away in 2023 at 85, leaving behind a respected place in the MASH ensemble. Nurse Abel remains notable because Farrell gave quiet strength, professionalism, and warmth to the difficult work of wartime nursing. Beyond MASH, Judy Farrell also worked as a writer and actor, contributing to television both on-screen and behind the scenes. Her Nurse Abel endures as a reminder that the 4077th's humanity was built by every hand in the operating room. Corporal Maxwell Q. Klinger is the inventive supply clerk in MASH, the unforgettable soldier whose outrageous schemes hide a loyal and capable heart. Played by Jamie Farr, born in 1934 in Toledo, Ohio, he was 38 when he began playing Klinger in 1972. In 2026, Jamie Farr is 92. Klinger remains beloved because Farr made his wild attempts to leave the Army funny, human, and eventually touching as the character matured over time. Beyond MASH, Jamie Farr stayed closely associated with classic television, stage work, and the enduring affection fans have for the 4077th. His Klinger endures because beneath the costumes and comedy was a man simply desperate to go home. Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan is the strong-willed head nurse in MASH, the disciplined officer whose evolution became one of the show's most important journeys. Played by Loretta Swit, born in 1937 in Montclair, New Jersey, she was 35 when she first assumed the role in 1972. She passed away in 2025 at 87, leaving behind one of television's most iconic nurse characters. Margaret remains powerful because Swit made her fierce, strict, vulnerable, professional, and increasingly compassionate as the series allowed her to grow beyond the early stereotype. Beyond MASH, Loretta Swit became closely identified with animal advocacy, stage work, and the lasting respect earned by her Emmy-winning performance. Her Margaret Houlihan endures because she turned a nickname into a fully human woman with pride, pain, and purpose. And that is the story of MASH, a show that found laughter inside fear, friendship inside exhaustion, and humanity inside war. Some members of the 477th are still with us in 2026, while others have taken their final bow, but every joke, announcement, surgery, and silence still carries their legacy. If this journey brought back memories, please like, subscribe, and stay with Hollywood 1960s TV, where the legends of the Golden Age live on.